Hey there guys, it's Melissa. I'm going to show you how to make this mason jar shaped card using Stampin' Up products. I got my inspiration from Paper Crafter 45. She actually showed how to make one of these sizes, and so that's where I got my inspiration from to make the actual card size mason jar. I'm not sure if other people have made them, but I'm just letting you know where I got my inspiration from. So this one I used the pistachio pudding with the corresponding DSP, also some stamp sets, which I will go ahead and show you guys that the ones that I used. So today we're going to make the card using crisp cantaloupe, and that same card using the crisp cantaloupe. So this time though, this card is an opening card like this. So I want my card to open at the top this time. So I'll let you know, first off, I use the Framelits Chalk Talk, the larger tag for the decoration. For the stamp, I also used the Bloom with Hope, which is a 2-part stamp set, and I used this one. For the sentiment, I used one from the Trust God, and I used Thank God for what you have, trust God for what you need. Those are the stamp sets I used. I will also be using the envelope punch board, which this is actually a We Are Memory Keepers, but Stampin' Up does carry them. And those are the main parts. So, and the ink. For starters, I'm going to score my card at 5.5 at the top, so that it will be a top folding card. Alright, so we got that out of the way. Let me grab a bone folder. Move that out of the way. So here's our card, folds at the top. Okay, so for rounding the bottom of the jar, I went ahead and used my corner chomper. There's all different kinds of corner rounders. Stampin' Up has some great ones. I will list some there, and I'm going to use the 1/2 inch side at the bottom of the card, both sides. Okay, now to get the shape of the jar right here, I'm going to bring over my envelope punch board. Now it will go through the double layer of cardstock. It's not easy, but it will do it. If you're not comfortable with that, then I don't know, maybe you could line it up at the 1 inch mark at this seam, or the score mark. But I've made this card a few times, so I trust that it'll go through. Just got to push down pretty good on it. Okay, again, line this at the 1 inch mark. It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. Push it down. Okay, so here's the shape you have, and we're done with the envelope punch board. Now we're going to grab a pair of scissors, cut the line straight. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to be covering it up with the lid to the jar, but you just want to get those pieces off. Okay, so we're getting there. There we go. There's the base of our card. Now for the lid, we're going to take, let's see, forgot to write down my measurements exactly. So the lid at the top is just over 3.5, so we're gonna go to 3 3/4 long. Let's see if this is 3 3/4 long. Yeah, and we're gonna go 7/8 wide by 3 3/4 long. Okay. So this will be the lid of our jar. Now I'm going to take my corner chomper on the 1/4 inch side and just round the top like that. Okay. So to attach it, I'm going to use some dimensionals. And attach the lid to the jar. You want to make sure that it doesn't go over the fold, because if it goes over the fold, then your card will be bigger than the A2 size card. I mean, not to say it can't, but it then won't fit the envelopes for it. So, okay. And if you need to, go ahead and finish off the corners at the top of your card too, so it matches up. Okay, there we go. So far so good. Now we're going to take our Whisper White and our DSP in Crisp Cantaloupe. Let's see, the base measures. So the Whisper White is going to measure 3 3/4. No, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then our DSP is going to measure 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. Those are going to be layered, so I'll go ahead and do that now. I'm choosing to use the chevron pattern. You can, there's I think 4 different patterns in the DSP for each color, and this is the one of the in colors for 2013 through 15. Oops. Oh, are you serious? I'm going to redo that. So 2 1/2. Luckily this piece is big enough. By 4 1/4. Now I should tape the right side, right? We'll see if I know how to, if I can figure out how to edit out that. If not, it'll be there. So I'm gonna layer that on my Whisper White. Right in the center, and there's not gonna be any border on either end, okay? It's just gonna go straight across. Now I'm gonna layer this on the card front. The little tag is going to be on dimensionals, so that's why this is going to be flat. And so when you put it on the front of your card, I like it a little towards the top, not quite in the center. Okay, so here we go. That's what we got down so far. Now I've already cut a tag from the Chalk Talk framelits, okay, and I cut one in the Crisp Cantaloupe and the Whisper White, and so we're going to stamp on the Whisper White. I have a little foam pad here that I like to use for stamping. I'm going to grab my StazOn and my flower. Give it a good coverage there. And I'm gonna kind of stamp off the side, okay? There we go. I'll clean it with a baby wipe. I don't know if I should or not, but that's what I do. Now, we're gonna take one of the Stampin' Right markers. I'm gonna take it in the Crisp Cantaloupe, and I'm just gonna slightly fill in this flower. I'm not gonna be too perfect. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try and leave some whites in the flower also. Just personal preference. You guys can choose to color however you want. Or I'm sure you guys can come up with some really interesting ways to decorate the front of these mason jar cards. If so, I would love it if you could link to, if you could send me a link or something so I can see what you choose to do with the mason jar card. Now I'm going to grab my sentiment. Should have done this before, I guess, huh? And this stays on again. I'm going to add my sentiment. Now I'm going to go ahead and layer the white piece, the Whisper White, onto the Crisp Cantaloupe. So I'm going to go to the right side, so I'm going to go ahead and put my tape right there. Kind of like that. Okay. Almost done. Now we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of this piece. Like so. Then I'm going to take my baker's twine, the thick baker's twine in Crisp Cantaloupe. I love this stuff. And open my card first. Go ahead and I'm going to give this 2 wraps. Make it a little bow, but I'm going to make sure that the piece I'm tying the bow on can hang down a little bit, so I can make it look like the tag is kind of hanging at the bottom, or hanging off, I should say. Not going to fiddle with this too terribly much on video, but you know, it takes a little while to get it to look right. And then and what else you can do is use a glue dot to hold it in place once you get the tag on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take off my dimensional backing, and I want to kind of make it look like it's on there pretty good, kind of like that. There we go. Kind of put it to the side a little. Like I said, go back with some glue dots or something and hold it in place. And then I just have some little sticky back rhinestones, which Stampin' Up! Has a really good set that you guys can get, and I'll put the product number on here. As soon as I run out of these, I'm gonna get some, but just go ahead and add. I got 2 small ones and 1 big one, like that. So there we go. You guys can go ahead and throw like a white Whisper White in the middle here for your sentiment.